Hi and welcome back to Prep Bytes. In this video, we're gonna go in and implement the theme toggle feature that we want in our application. Now, I'm not gonna be able to go in and provide the theming for all the components that we created because we have a bunch of them. But I'll take one particular component. I'll show you the whole process. You can just repeat the same for every other component that we have built within our chat application. Okay. So the idea here is fairly simple. So we have this button over here, and on clicking this button, I should be able to go in and toggle between light theme and dark theme. So right now it's in light theme. So if I go in and click on it, I want the icon to change as well as the overall app to go in and take up the dark theme. So for the color schema, I just took the light themed version that we have and just threw in a bunch of darker shades. You can get tons and tons of color palettes. I just used one of such palettes and got this particular color set over here. Okay, so I'm gonna just take this particular background color in order to go in and get started. And we are going to be using an additional library which is called as the Redux toolkit library in order to basically write Redux logic. But that will come in hand later on. But first and foremost, let's try to understand how exactly is it that we're going to go in and implement this toggle switching part. Okay. All right. So I'm going to directly jump back into my VS Code, and this is the sidebar component that we had created. And I'm only going to focus on the header for the time being. Okay, just the header. So the header is nothing but this area that you see at the top with the icons. This is going to be my header, and I'll be just going in and trying to give it this darkest theme that we kind of have the design for. Okay. So over here now, the way to achieve this is fairly simple. Okay, I'll show you a way to go in and do this in a much more convenient manner. So I'm going to create a class. Let me call it as dark. Okay, so it's a CSS class that I'm creating. I'm going to give it some background color. All right. And this is going to be the same color that was just copied from the design, which is 29, 39, 20, 2D 3941. Okay. So I'll just save this. And if I give this particular class as an additional class, as well to this header, okay, then one thing you'll be able to notice is like, yeah, so there are two classes from where this element, this div element called as SB header is taking its properties from. Okay, so we have the SB header class and the dark class, and it's going to be taking properties from both of them. Okay, but I've written this in the initial part. So what I can do is, okay, so I'll tell you the problem here. So if you go in and you do this, you can see that you will be able to notice that, yeah, okay, the color didn't change at all. Okay, so you can see that over here, the dark class that we created is getting overridden. So what we can do is, we can just go in over here. And right after the color, I'm just going to go in and write important. Okay, so we're going to just go in and put space, write exclamation mark, important. So what would happen is this is not going to go in and get overridden, right? So if I go into my browser back again, you'll be able to notice that the sidebar, the header actually went in and changed in color. Okay, so that is pretty good. Okay, fine. But I need a way to go in and toggle this color, right? So right now it's fixed. So if I go in and add this class called as dark, that particular div element that I have, this particular div element, okay, the entire header div element goes in and takes the properties that are there inside of this dark class. Okay, that is also fine. Okay, I'll do something for the color as well, for the text color as well, because we're going to need it in later. Let's go for white. We'll go white smoke. Why not? It's going to be a gradient of white. And for this as well, because as we're writing at the top, we kind of wanted to go in and override everything. Okay. So, yes. So right now, the scenario is that we kind of want to. So I've added in this color for text as well. So what we want to do is, if I go in and I click on this particular icon, okay, so this nightlight icon, all right, I want to be able to toggle between light and dark theme. Okay, so for the time being, we are going to go in and implement this toggling thing locally. Okay, we're going to do it locally, and then we'll see how we can go in and do the entire thing on our entire complete application. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I need a variable to go in and remember whether the theme is light or dark. Okay, because see, we're going to be switching between two color themes, right? The light theme and the dark theme. So I need to go in and remember, okay, what's the current theme? And if I click on the button, it should toggle. It should become light and dark. So I need to be able to alternate between light and dark. All right. So I'm going to create up a variable over here. So let's just create up a state variable. Okay. So I'm going to use state for the same. and I'll just say dark. Okay, I'm just gonna go in and say dark. And what I'll do here is, let me just go in and specify. Okay, so we can kind of go in and be able to toggle between the both of them. Okay. So my idea over here is, let's just get it inside of a variable, all right? So use state returns as an array. So I'll say theme and another function to go in and set my theme. Okay. So I'm initially setting its value down to dark. Okay. And if it is in dark, or let's just say light. Okay. Because the initial theme that it's going to load with will be the light theme. So I'm just giving it a string and I'm calling it as light. That's all. Okay. Nothing much. Now or else this is something we can okay, let's just keep it as a boolean value. Okay, I think I'll say this is gonna help us. Okay, so I'll say light theme and I'll say set light theme. Okay, we'll follow the conventions as it should. So this is going to be a boolean variable. Okay, so the reason for this variable is so that I can go in and keep track of whether it is light theme or it is dark theme. So initially I'm saying, is it light theme? True. Okay, so initially it's going to be in light theme mode. So what I can do here is, see, I want this icons to go in and toggle. So I have another icon which is light mode icon. So what I can do here is fairly simple. We'll go in and say, so we're going to be needing a bit of JSX here. All right. So I'll say, depending on the value of this variable that we created called as light theme. Okay. So I'm going to say light theme. This is a variable. And let's say if the value of light theme is true, I want to go in and render out the night light icon. Okay, so I'm going to just cut this off and paste it in here. Okay, so what this means is, if the value of the variable light theme is true, then it will go in and render out night light. And then similar to this, I need it for the daylight light icon as well. Okay, so I'm going to bring in one more, and here I'll use the I'm going to use the negation one. So because if it is not light, if it is light theme, if it is not light theme, which is in the sense if it's false, I want to go in and show this light mode icon. Okay, so I'm going to say light mode icon. There you go. So this is a really simple way that we can go in and toggle your icons. Okay, so if I show you this, let me just directly jump into my browser. Okay, now one thing you'll be able to notice is that if I go in, okay, one thing we forgot is we forgot to go in and click on make the thing to toggle. Okay, so right now the value of set of light theme, the variable, the state variable light theme is true. So what I want to do is, if I click on this icon, okay, on click of this icon, what I want to do is I want to go in and toggle the value of let me just say set light theme, and I'm going to go in and toggle its previous value. Okay, so now one thing we can do is we can give this a parameter which is going to be the previous value. Okay, so I'm just going to write this is previous value. So see, the setter function is capable of taking a callback function whose parameter will be the previous value, and I can just go in and return the negation of the previous value, so that I'm able to go in and toggle between these two things, right? So this is return. I think I've put, let's just go in and put this in here. So that should do. So let's see what difference does this make. So now the idea is that if I go in to my output browser, okay, now look at this icon that I have, right? So this is the icon for toggling the, you might not be able to see it because it's completely in dark. Let me take away the dark class, that particular class. So you should be able to see it there. There you go. So now if I click on it, you can see the icons are toggling between each other. Okay, so the idea is really simple. We have a boolean variable which is telling us whether light theme is required or dark theme is required. So if the value is true, it means it's light theme. If the value is false, it's dark theme. Okay. Now the next thing to do here is, okay, so on click of this, I want the themes to toggle. Okay, so what we can do here is, I'll just come back into my VS Code, and here, right in the place where we are specifying the name of the class, I'm going to change the syntax up a bit. Okay, so I'll just put it up and over here, and the idea is to use a ternary operator. Okay, I'm going to use a ternary operator. And the idea here is, if the value of this variable, which is light theme, if this is true, Then I'm gonna go in and just return nothing. Okay, I'll just go in. I'm gonna put question mark here. I'm just gonna return an empty string. Okay, so that it gets appended out. Else I'll go in and return a string with the word dark in it. So it's gonna go in and get appended to the string. So we'll be able to go in and get the overall functionality that we want, right? So this is our expression. I'm gonna put this whole thing inside of circular brackets as well so that it gets evaluated initially. Okay, so there we go. So we have a runaway. Okay, we have a runaway closing bracket. Let's just go in and see where the problem is. Oh, I completely okay. I put there you go. So this is gonna go in and sort it out. I instead of the colon, because you're supposed to separate the two values with a colon, right? So I put an add for some apparent reason, but anyways, okay. So that would do. So now the idea is that depending on the value of this, it's gonna either append nothing or it will go in and append the class which is dark. So it's we're keeping it as a string now. Okay. So the difference that it would go in and make is, so it's kind of going to be evident now if I take you back to my browser. Now look at this. Okay, so right now it's a dark theme. So right now the icon is for light theme as well. Now if I click on it, there you go. It's toggling themes. And the only thing that we had to go in and require over here was just a single icon and we were good to go. Okay. All right. Now another thing we'll go in and do here is we want the icons, because let's see, the icons were a bit on the smaller side. If I just open this up, yeah, the icons are a bit on the smaller side, I'd say. So we can make them a bit bigger. Okay. So for this, I'm going to go back to my VS Code. Let's create up a class, because I guess the icons don't have any classes right now. So I'm going to create a class and let me call it as icon. Okay, not image container. It's just icon. Okay. And there you go. And now what we can do here is, let's first and foremost set the width. So the default width, if I can just go in and inspect my browser, inspect the app that we have in my browser, and we'll be able to figure out what's the current size. Okay, so right now if I go to computed, you'll be able to go in and see the overall width. So it's set down to auto. Okay, let's see. Width is 1. Okay, so it's using the EM unit, so which would be 16 pixels by default. Let's go and make it to 1.25. Okay, so it's a bit more on the bigger side. So I'm going to say 1.25 EM. Also, in order to override because we are putting it at the top, so I just want it to go in and override the overall theme, the default theme that it comes with, the default size it comes with, right? So import, and so that should make our icons a bit more on the bigger side. Okay. Okay, I think I didn't give the class. Okay, I forgot to give in the class to the icons. Let me just quickly go in and do that. You'll be able to see the difference here. Okay. So I'm gonna only do it for the person add icon. Okay, so for the account circle icon, the very first icon on the left hand side. Okay, so I'm gonna say class name is equal to icon. Save this. I'm gonna come back over here and you can see it's a bit more on the bigger side, and I'll say that's the right proportion. So I'm gonna add this class to all of them. Okay, let me just go and add this class to all of them. And also apparently we'll have to do something about the icon color as well. Okay. So the idea here is going to be the same, because if we are going to be going in and doing the toggle thing here, we want the colors to go in and get updated for our icons as well. Okay. So how do I do that? See, the idea is simple. We're going to just use this as my template for now. Okay. And what I'll do here is, let me just go in and put this in here. So the name of my class is icon. So you're going to write the name of the class. Then light theme is going to go in and follow up regardless. Okay. And we have copied out and forgot the ending curly brackets. Okay. So that's fine. So what this should do is it should also go in and toggle the theme of the icons as well, right? By just using these two and this variable, we are able to go in and get this toggling effect. All right. So now if I just show you the final output, there you go. So now if I click on it, you can see the icon color also goes in and changes. Okay. The icon color also goes in and toggles as per it should be. So I'm going to go in and make the change to all the other components. So I'm going to copy this and add it to all of the icons. Okay, so I'll add it to the person add, to group add. Then we have nightlight and this as well. Okay, there you go. So that and all should kind of go in and do it. I think we missed one, okay, which is the add circle icon. Okay, there you go. There we go. So now if I go into my browser, as you can see, so when we go in and we click on the toggle theme button, you can see it is able to go in and make the certain requisite changes that we need. Okay, so this is good. But now all I'll have to go in and do to go in and get this theme toggle feature is to just add in this class name with a bit of JSX. Okay, so it's just using string concatenation to change the name of the classes that it is inheriting. So this kind of gives it a pretty good touch, I would say. Now we need to go in and make this available to all the other components. So we have only made this particular variable. See, right now the overall theme toggle is dependent on this variable. This variable is responsible for allowing us to go in and toggle our themes. Okay, but within the sidebar component, I'll be easily able to do so. It is not gonna be an issue whatsoever. Okay, so if I just copy this and I add it to the other components that I have, it will go in and function as it should. So this is the SB search thing. Let me just select this, change the name to search. Okay, and we'll also do it for our search box as well. Okay, so I'm going to replace this. Okay, what is the name of the class again? Let me just check that. Okay, so it's search box. Okay, search box. Fine. I'm going to go in and paste this up. Change the name of the class to search box. Okay. Oh yeah, class name is equal to this whole thing. Okay, so that kind of works. We'll do the same for this one as well. So it's SB conversations. So you'll just have to, there isn't much additions that you're going to need. You just need to use the same class name and it'll kind of work in as, intended. All right. So let's see what difference did this make. I'm going to jump into my browser. And as you can see, if I click on it, the entire sidebar goes on toggles. But now the problem is I also want the same variable to affect other components as well. Okay. So the problem here is that we need to go in and make this particular variable, this particular state variable, globally available. Okay, so if it is made globally available, then the overall idea or the advantage will be that we'll be able to do the same changing the class name with JSX part constantly across the complete application. Okay, so how to go in and toggle themes? Fairly simple. We just need a state variable and we're using a bit of JSX to swap out or add an additional class of styles into our elements. Fine. But now the scenario here is we need to be able to go in and make this particular state variable, this light theme variable, globally available. Now, the way we are going to go in and achieve this is by utilizing something called as the Redux toolkit. Okay. So Redux toolkit is basically a global state management library, which allows you to go in and just provide a particular state across to every other component that is there within your application. Okay, so what we'll be doing is in the next particular video, we're going to go in and integrate Redux toolkit so that we are able to, so this is Redux toolkit. Okay, so right now, as you can see, the whole sidebar is working in as it should. For the sidebar, there is no problem whatsoever. Okay, but the other components also need to go in and follow the same theme, right? So we're going to make that state variable globally available by using Redux. Okay, we're going to be writing some Redux logic using this library called as Redux toolkit. So this is what we're going to go in and set up in the next video. And we'll kind of try to summarize the overall working of Redux in short, because we are going to be requiring the same library later on once we start working with Redux in order to make our data available or accessible across our entire application. Okay, so that would be all for this particular video. We'll see you in the next one.